things will never be the same. Because the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change.
Ah, yes, my friends. What the closing days of this year inspires many of us to look back and think about how we spent these last 12 months. Many look back and say, I should have done this, or I wish I got around to that. But not you and me, my friend. We spend these days not unsatisfied, but grateful. Another year of life. What a wonderful thing. But how wonderful? Were there experiences this year that triumphed over others? If so, how do we rank one over the other? A hierarchy must be decided.
It really does.
Shut up. Which is why I have invented a model for such a thing. The hierarchy of power. A top 10 list of my experiences this year. It could be anything. A food, a place, a TV show, an album, or even a single song. Anything. As long as I experienced it within this calendar year, it's fair game. And pause. I know what you're saying. Snap, didn't you just steal this from the Versus Rules podcast? And, maybe. But, so? It's not like they have a trademark on top 10 lists. That'd probably be Watch Mojo. Ain't that right, Mojo? Mojo? Anywho, this video is pretty intuitive, so just follow along and you'll get the concept pretty quickly. But first, I do want to apologize. I thought for sure the next video was going to be a story time, but it ended up being this. With final exams closing in, I had to pick between either a story time or a hierarchy of power. And if this video came out like a month later, it kind of defeats the point. Plus, the first video of 2026 being a story time kind of had a nice ring to it. And with that in the bag, we can finally move on to our honorable mentions. Yeah, so turns out compressing your entire year into 10 placings is really difficult. So this is a small list of things that, well, didn't make the list. Probably could have worded that a bit better, but whatever. Honorable mentions goes as follows. Invincible Season 3, Seafood, Daredevil Born Again, Udon, Skateboarding, This Drawing I Made, Squid Games Seasons 2 and 3, Coolish, Marvel Rivals, Visiting Harvard, My Caddy Lumi, In the Mood for Love, Chainsaw Man the Movie, and finally, huge shout out to Ringo Suba. She's an amazing animation YouTube channel and like the ideal version of what I want this channel to be. Definitely my favorite channel to debut this year. But, she better watch out. If she slacks for a moment, I might be the next one up. Yeah, right. No time this decade, I'm afraid. But finally, with the preamble out of the way, we can start. But first, could you like and subscribe? YouTube shows me this funny little graph and nah, I'm just joking. You don't need to do all that. I know you want the list, but do you really want it? Do you really? Yeah, that's right. Just barely crawling out of the Valley of the Honored, we have Peacemaker, specifically Season 1, making 10th power. Now, Peacemaker Season 2 did come out this year, but no tea, no shade. It was a little Chris Middleton, which is crazy compared to Season 1, seeing that it was the most shockingly good TV show I saw this year. And if you're tired of superhero media, then you need to watch Peacemaker. The dark comedy James Gunn brings, combined with John Cena's performance, makes it a must-watch. But if you need a little bit more selling, let me introduce you to the character of Vigilante. A character with a moral code so warped it crosses the point of cringe, then wraps back around to being funny.
So you're compassionate about tape, but not brutally murdering people?
Yes.
It also, without spoiling too much, has my favorite type of villain, which are body snatchers. From me to you, Peacemaker Season 1 is a strong recommend and placing at 10th power on this list. Honestly, this show is so good, I'm surprised it hasn't won like a Golden Globe or something. Which, did you know they're not even gold? It's like a mix of zinc and copper. But you know what is golden? Placing at 9th power, Persona 4 Golden, as my game of the year. Now, back in high school, I used to look down on the Persona franchise for being for people who didn't have social lives and couldn't make friends at school. So, me right now. But a lot of people are unfamiliar with this amazing game, so let me give you the elevator pitch. You are a transfer student to the small Japanese town of Inaba, where everything is peaceful, filled with mom and pop shops that have been there for decades, meeting adorable personalities on every street corner. Everything is how it should be, except in the town of Inaba, something is off, and that off thing is that among this tight-knit group of community and social links, one of them is the serial killer that has been plaguing Inaba, and you and your group of friends are the only ones that can stop them. And this sounds a lot like part 4 of JoJo's. And yeah, between the small town murder mystery, bunching up with a group of friends to find the murderer, and the main ability being to summon another version of yourself to fight for you, the only thing separating this game from a copyright infringement is that Araki is a really nice guy. But aside from that, Persona 4 is placed here not because of its lovable characters, rollercoaster of a story, or absolutely killer soundtrack, but because this game really has something to say about accepting your true self and not running away or denying the parts of you that you may not be so proud of. This message connecting with me so deeply that it genuinely saved my mental health this year. I'm not even joking. And this all goes without mentioning the murder mystery, which is actually hard to solve. Like, if you guess wrong, you just get the bad ending and the murderer just gets away with it. And the game does not warn you if this is happening. But I do have to mention the age of the game, Persona 4 Golden coming out in 2012. The gameplay really does feel like it in some places, and the visuals definitely look like it. Which, if these are hills that you just can't summit, then sadly, I'm gonna have to skip the recommend on this one. Is what I would say if Persona 4 weren't getting a top to bottom remake, hopefully releasing sometime next year, Persona 4 Revival. And honestly, I can't wait to go back to the town of Inaba and solve this mystery all over again. Phew. Alright, that's 2 down. I'm not gonna lie, this is probably gonna be my longest and most complex video yet. I don't know how I'm gonna get this out before Christmas. Speaking of, did you know that Christmas in some countries is actually considered more of a romantic holiday? So who knows, there might be some love in the air. No, everyone still hates each other in America? Okay, yeah. But you know where there might be love in the air? Placing at 8th power, Kaguya-sama Love is War, my favorite anime of the year. And alright, before I even talk to you why I like this show, let me give you the premise because I promise you, you're gonna be sold on this show before the end of my next sentence. Kaguya and Miyuki are both members of the prestigious Shujin Academy. Both are madly intelligent, and both are madly in love with each other. The only problem being is that neither one is willing to confess, seeing a confession as a surrender in the relationship. The whole show being the plots and tricks they use to get the other to confess. And this show is hilarious. I'm not talking like funny for an anime, like getting genuine laugh out loud moments for me. The concept hooks you, but you really do stay for the characters, from the obvious but lovable Chika to the uptight but relatable Ino, who really plays the perfect straight man for this character comedy, to if my soul was compressed into a character, it would probably be Ishigami. Honestly, I'm not saying a lot about this because either the premise clicks or it doesn't, but if you're looking to unwind after these stressful holidays, give this show a shot. I promise you won't regret it. But you know what I really do regret? Not getting one of those privacy screen protectors, because some days I'll just be scrolling Twitter in public and I'll be terrified I'll scroll past something crazy. And the main contributor to this paranoia, at 7th power, the artist Kasato. The unique trait about Kasato is that they only draw one character, Ellie. And all the unique, let's call them scenarios Kasato can think of. This could range from a cute drawing of Ellie to a spicy drawing of Ellie to a I don't think I can show this on YouTube drawing of Ellie. That shows range, and that range shows real talent. So much so that it inspired me to go the extra mile when drawing my female characters. And it made me discover how much I love drawing women's fashion. Like if you go on my Instagram, you'll just see that evolution post by post. But rounding back to Kasato, I really want to zero in on their talent for depicting the human face and their absolute godlike ability to render skin and sweat. Something I'd be super jealous of if I didn't want to be an animator. If you like good art and don't mind some spicy drawings in your timeline, give Kasato a follow on Twitter. And yes, I still call it Twitter. That idiot can buy a website, but he can't buy my vocabulary. I swear, billionaires owning all the things I use even though I'm anti-billionaire feels like I'm dancing with the devil. And you know what they say about that.
You keep dancing with the devil. One day it's gonna follow you home.
Standing tall at 6th power, we have the modern masterpiece, Sinners. Everyone's seen it, so I don't need to explain. But if you haven't seen it, this is one of those movies where you need to trust and just go in blind for. These movies change how I look at movie theaters. I could not imagine something like this on your laptop or living room. Movies like Sinners are the reason you should really support your local theater in the age of streaming. When me and my cousin came out of that movie, we were both forever changed, not believing what we had just saw. While watching this movie, there was a set piece that I won't spoil that had me like, what are they doing? Are they doing this? To, oh my god, they're actually doing this. Sinners is the full package, being an amazing horror, a thrilling action movie, and a love letter to music, being a celebration of the black voice. Also, it definitely takes the cake as the freakiest movie of the year. Like, after a long night of dancing, hooting and hollering, this man, Preacher Boy, still wanted to, I'm not even gonna say it. Honestly, I'm running out of words to describe this one without spoiling. It really was an out-of-body experience, proving that Hollywood's bag still ain't empty just yet, and I just can't wait to see what Ryan Coogler does with Black Panther 3. And with that, we close out the bottom half of this list. I know it's been a lot, peak after peak. I can't believe there's 5 more things better than Sinners. I know Mackie's pissed right now, but we must leave the Guild of Excellence and enter our top 5. The League of Deities. What experiences could possibly rank here? Well, let's find out. My friend group is pretty weird. It operates less like a friend group and more like the MCU, where we're kind of all on our own journeys, but then we kind of just pop into each other's lives like a cameo in a movie. But there are some events so massive where it does make the Avengers assemble. April 2nd, 2025, 8:58 a.m. I am sitting in a group call with all my friends. I have ceramics class in 2 minutes. I decide to skip because in 2 minutes, me and my friends get to see the future of Nintendo. And oh my god. At 5th power, we have Nintendo's Switch 2 presentation. And this might be one of the best gaming presentations I've ever seen before in my life. Elden Ring, Mario Kart 9, Cyberpunk, Donkey Kong Bonanza, Kirby Air Riders, and Legally Distinct Bloodborne, and so much more. This presentation had a little something for everyone in my friend group, and the collective hype and energy were beyond words. Something I really needed considering that this was a really rough patch in the year. I'm sorry, I'm not exactly explaining this one like super well, but the Nintendo Switch is my favorite console ever, and ever since I was a kid, I've always wanted to own the newest console. Not a year later, not next Christmas, I wanted to be a part of the next generation of console owners, and the Nintendo Switch 2 allowed me to do that. 5 months in, I still don't regret my purchase. The Switch 2 handles like a dream. A lot of people complain that this thing is underpowered, and yeah, that's fine. I can play all the video games I want in my bed without a gaming setup, which is all I need. And complaining that the Switch 2 is underpowered is like complaining that someone else's car doesn't go 0 to 60 in like 0.3 seconds. Maybe I just don't need to do that. But regardless, for giving me one of the best times of the year and being an amazing follow-up to my favorite console ever, the Switch 2 and its first presentation ranks at 5th power. But apart from this presentation, what actually got me through this year was the power of music. Being a college student is tough, and working a not so part-time job on top of that makes it even tougher. Almost like a tradition, on my walk to work, I'd always play this song from my playlist, and that song was Homemade Kazoku's Thank You, a song about gratitude and appreciating the good times. I played this song constantly. It was my anthem of hope, that hope giving me the strength to hold on just a little bit longer, to hold on until the sunrise throughout this year, which felt like a very long night. That song was supposed to be 4th power, but I'd be lying if that was the only song that did that for me. And since I'm not only talking about these things, but low-key recommending them, I wanted to widen my scope a bit. So, at 4th power, we have Japanese music, and there were no lack of hits this year. My playlist was invaded. Otonoke's Dandadan theme, Kenshi Yozune's Iris Out, genuinely being one of the biggest songs of the year, to the Afrobeat-inspired synth of CreepyNuts' Mirage. Seriously, give any of these a listen and you'll see what I'm talking about. Expanding my music taste beyond just English being a treat time after time. And that's not even mentioning all the OSTs I've been listening to. Like, listening to Persona music while I'm actually at school has definitely boosted my grades somehow. I cannot understate how much music in general has done for me personally. It dragged me through the worst of times and immortalized the best of times. And for that, I am forever grateful to music this year. And with that said and done, we now enter my top 3 experiences for this year, or the Cabal of Divinity. For this experience to reach the heights, it needs to... I'm sorry, what is that? Is that the sun flickering? Seriously, what is that in the sky? It's messing up the shot. It's not a bird. It's not a plane. Is that Superman? Superman ranks at third power, being my movie of the year. And that's right, Mackie, I am putting Superman over Sinners. Get over it. James Gunn brings everything I could have ever wanted in Superman media. He's not a rage monster, he's a Boy Scout. He's not dark and gritty. He wears red trunks so kids aren't scared of him. He's not letting his father die in a tornado. He goes out of his way to save a squirrel. This Superman is just a nice guy who tries his best, and that's all I've been asking for years. I remember my first time watching this in theaters. Superman falls to the ground after being blasted with solar rays, and his first words when he gets back up, "Golly." From that moment on, I knew this movie was in good hands. David Cornsweet brings a believability to the character that has been starving for it, making a character that could walk across the surface of the sun, but also gets annoyed when his dog walks under his feet, feel real, with a heartfelt humor that only James Gunn can do. I could go on about this movie forever. The music, instant classic, the main theme becoming my workout music. The visuals, like a comic book come to life. The bright colors adding this weird golden hue, making Metropolis seem almost mythological. The bright blues and reds of Superman's costume always popping out on screen, never getting lost, just leaving me in awe. And this movie has one of the best messages I have ever seen come out of a comic book movie. That being kind is cool. That being genuine and caring isn't some immature way to approach life. That believing in the better half of people can inspire them to do good. And that really did speak to me. This movie changed my outlook on life and showed me that stories still have the power to change hearts and minds, and it inspires me to reach that level. For that, Superman sits at number 3. And honestly, I was probably the most annoying person on the planet when this movie came out. I saw it like 3 times and was begging for people to go see it with me even more, especially during my summer internship. Kinda hard to sell the all-American superhero to Japanese people. I kinda feel like that last sentence was supposed to be a bit more impactful. Alright, at second power we have my Japanese internship. Earlier this year, I got accepted into an all-women's Japanese university. Now, considering how I present myself and my clearly annoying voice, I'm obviously a guy. So how does this happen? I don't know. It was one of those memes where I applied for the job and then Steph Curry shows up with like a 2% shot. I did not expect to get in, but I was so happy I did. Basically, to explain, the school was having a problem with students speaking English during class, but not after hours. So they hired some American college students, i.e. me, to encourage English speaking on campus. Now, the only problem was that there was no real goal to achieve this, so the school kind of threw their hands up and let us figure out our own jobs for the most part. Seriously, as long as speaking English was the primary focus, it was fair game. Also, pause, since this is YouTube and media literacy is at an all-time low, when I say students, I mean college students. So, people like 5 months younger than me. Also, the sake of privacy. Anyways, one of the jobs I assigned myself was to watch iCarly. Normally, this is not considered work under any circumstance, but every time a student heard a saying that they weren't familiar with, I'd have to explain it to them. For example, the saying water under the bridge sounds confusing as hell if English isn't your native language, so I'd have to explain it to them. Another fun thing is that students just started inviting me out to places, and that also counted as work. Cake shopping they found in the city, as long as we spoke English on the way, it counted as work. Playing ping pong, as long as we kept the score in English, that also counted. And all this goes without saying. But this internship wouldn't have ranked so high if not for all the amazing people I met during my stay. Seriously, Japanese people are some of the coolest people you'll ever meet, especially if they're from Kansai. Shout out my boy Section 6. I'm definitely gonna make an entire video on this internship, so I'm gonna have to save the funnier and wackier stories for later. But for now, my Japanese internship stands at second power. And finally, we have reached the summit. Originally, I was going to do a smooth transition like with all the other entries, but this experience needs no introduction. At the throne of Nirvana and first power, we have...
It's time for the moment you've been waiting for. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Tsh, da, 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 da. Di, da, di, di, da, di, di, da, 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 da. Di, da, di, li, da, di, li, di, da. Di, da, di, li, di, da, di, li, 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 da, di, da, di, di, da, di, di, da.
I wasn't joking when I said anything could be on this list. Earlier this year, I took a trip there, and what a reminder that the world is huge, much larger than you can even imagine. I went with a group of soon-to-be friends, and we traveled all over the Kansai region of Japan, visiting every major temple on the way, also trying every food in between: udon, yakitori, teriyaki, and my personal favorite, coolish, which is basically just vanilla ice cream, but when you're in peak Japanese humidity, you tell me this is not the best thing ever. Any day on this list could be a strong entry on its own. Visiting Kiyomizu, seeing the Torii Gate at Miyajima, Japanese bar hopping, going to a maid cafe, going to a muscle bar, which, yes, if you're asking, the bar with the muscly dudes ranks over the bar with cute maid girls. Don't at me, but my favorite part was walking through a small town in Nara to get to a temple. And yes, Kyoto, Tokyo, Osaka are Japan, but this is Japan, a small town with killing humidity and a single grocery store. This is Japan. This is someone's everyday, and I was experiencing that. I'm not gonna lie, I was nerding out. For one, I was like, oh my god, Inaba is real. And two, when you watch anime, yeah, those background artists aren't just making stuff up. It's based off of actual environments in Japan, which sounds basic when heard right, but wild to experience. The air was fresher, the food tasted better, and I am definitely glazing. Like 3 out of the top 5 entries on this list were Japanese related, but what can I say, this year had a theme. Also, it sucks that I can't go too in depth on this one either, because I also plan on making a video out of this trip as well. That's probably going to be my next super video, probably dropping sometime early summer. But speaking of next year, this year's Hierarchy of Power is finished. Wow, not a great transition, but you try writing this long ass video while you're doing your finals. But please, now that my list is finished, I want to know yours. What is your personal hierarchy of power? Put it in the comments below. I will be reading them during my break. Well, I can't really call it a break. I'm going to be doing a ton of work to upgrade the channel for next year. 2026 is shaping up to be the wildest ride yet. But for now, this is Snap Studios signing off for the year. So from me to you, happy holidays, and I pray our best years are still ahead of us. So, until the next story I have to tell, until next time, I'm gonna have to see you down the road. And as always, this video is meant for your eyes only.